Dominick Puni is an offensive lineman coming out of the University of Kansas. He is 6'5", 313 pounds with 33 3/8 inch arms. At Kansas, he spent time at left guard and left tackle. I pulled roughly an equal amount of clips showing Dominick at left guard from 2022 and at left tackle from 2023. We'll jump around. We'll start with him at left tackle. One thing I like about him is he is not passive in pass protection. He's got a powerful punch and an accurate punch as far as when he shoots his hands. At left tackle and at left guard, I think he plays with great pad level in the run game particularly. He's not a big mover of people off the ball. He shoots his hands inside here, gets underneath the defender's pads, grabs some cloth, turns his hips, seals the defender. I'll make a point of this through the video. I think he's a little passive in finishing blocks and letting guys off the block. It's to no consequence here, but it is at other times. The feet, as he works laterally here to reach this 4-eye, are very impressive. I'd like to see him drop an anchor here once he has him reached. He's playing straight up. The other thing that he's got a habit of doing is turning to find the football to see if it's past him. We'll see him at left guard, asked to pull and pass protect on the right side. Again, very accurate shooting his hands. Good grip strength. Do like how he's not passive in pass protection. Once again, we've got him at left guard. Really nice looking feet as he's asked to cover the inside gap. Kansas pulling the center. You see that grip strength here as the defender kind of slides off the block. He doesn't panic, rides him past the quarterback. As far as his stance, he is a bit high and too straight up. That does explain how the defender slips off of him. Dominick at left guard, nice looking rep in pass protection. Off the ball, he shoots his hands. Defender works inside, is able to knock Dominick's outside arm high. You can see that there. Works his legs to get square and cut off the rush inside. At the same time, you see him work to refit that outside arm. It's a good marriage of hands and feet on this play. Watch it again. Dominick is asked on this play to block in combination. There's two techniques, square over him with the left tackle. His footwork off the ball is poor. The timing between these two is not great. Dominick's job here should be to take a short stretch step inside, and then with his outside foot, cut the defender right down the middle, taking over this half of his body, while the left tackle comes over, takes the other half. He either whiffs badly here and or leaves the block early. Mentioned this before, but he does not routinely knock guys off the ball in the run game. In some respects, it's a little bit unfair showing his 2022 tape because he does get better in 2023. Good pads off the ball, but he ends up standing straight up here. Cannot see his hands. He's off balance. You can see the defender slip off. Again, that's because he's straight up. He looks pretty good out of his stance in terms of his pads, how he shoots his hands. From what I've seen, he does a good job both at guard and tackle at getting under the pads of the defender across from him off the ball. You can see his outside arm shoots wide, but he is able to move his feet just enough, flip his hips, and seal the defender. Once again, off the ball, he plays with good pad level, does a good job shooting his hands And just as important, he runs his legs, gets movement on the defender. I don't know how these linemen are coached so far as it relates to their footwork on these drives. I will say that if you watch the other guard, his footwork is much more typical as he goes for essentially the same sort of block that we see Dominick attempting. The short stretch step, slightly forward and inside. Get your second foot down, make contact. He tends to kind of hop backwards. So there's a slight lean there. My sense is that this is probably being coached. I think that's generally the approach, and that his footwork is slightly off in that regard. I understand that the consensus opinion is that he'll be moved inside to guard. I'm not sure I'm ready to say that yet. I like his ability to recover on the outside. This is him at left tackle. I like his timing of his shoot. We see a good marriage of feet and hands here and a reworking of both. Watch as he refits this inside arm, continuing to work his legs to get square. Here's a good indication of what I mentioned earlier. It does appear that he's improved his technique on this drive block. He's able to get a lot of good movement. Watch the short and slightly forward inside stretch step. Second foot down quickly. Does have good quick feet. Good pads off the ball and great leg drive. Great movement. I'd like to see a greater commitment to finishing blocks, particularly backside, away from the play. Off the ball, his job is to hinge backside. He's very lackadaisical here. Also has this habit of turning his head to find the play. He's not paying any attention to that block whatsoever. Because the back has to redirect and come to his side, his man ends up making the play. It may seem a small thing, but it shows up too much. I'd like him to stay on his blocks. Here he is just sealing the running GT counter behind him. Stay on the block. He's just passive and allows that defender off of him. I see it as a lack of effort and commitment to making this block. Just doesn't look committed to making it right off the ball. And you see that defender get in on the tackle, land right on top of the ball carrier. He is 24 years old, but I see him as a prospect on the rise and somebody who has improved and I think will continue to improve. And his versatility needs to be mentioned. He can play anywhere on the line. From the clips I've seen of him at the Senior Bowl, I thought he looked great. You see him here taking snaps at center. Just a thought experiment for Ravens fans or anybody else for that matter. You take someone like Graham Barton in the first round, you take Puni in the third, and you got these two guys that can play anywhere on the line.